Hey, what's going on? CoinOpTV subscribers, welcome to another CoinOpTV live and interactive on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. I usually live stream at 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time. Mark your calendars, set your alarms, set your YouTube status notifications so that you guys get the alerts on your phone, on your tablets, just straight into your brain. So we're going to talk Skylanders Imaginators, specifically the creation crystals and the battle classes. I've got special guest Skylanders expert Matt, SCL Matt, in the house. What is up, sir?
Not too much right now, but we have got some stuff to talk about today. So,
well, yes, we got controversial topics. We're going to answer your questions in chat. There's things we want to talk about. We want to prepare you for the big Skylanders Imaginators release in October 2016. I see some people jumping in chat. Henry, Richard, Dan, the Toon Gump, Mr. Dad Gamer, Chloe's in chat. Robert the Blastermon is in chat. The Skylander Kid says live with exclamation points. Choo Choo is in chat. Boss Comics. We got some new regulars. It's interesting to see who was a regular early in the year versus who's a regular now, getting ready for some Skylanders Imaginators. Matt, what is your Skylanders Imaginators hype level?
it's pretty high right now. I even with the controversy, there's so much I'm looking forward to in this game that I just want to get my hands on it right now.
I've had a couple times chances to play it in person, and it was really fun. It looks like it's coming along. So let's get started talking about some Skylanders Imaginators. If you didn't know, this is the 6th Skylanders game in the popular franchise from Activision. This time around, Activision and Skylanders are going to allow you to make your own character from scratch using these creation crystals, and there's different battle classes. We're going to talk about the battle classes and specifically about the creation crystals. Here's a look at the creation crystal here. There's a fire one. I believe fire comes, Matt, am I right? The fire comes with the starter kit?
The fire is the one that will come in any starter pack that you pick up, yeah.
Yes, so that'll be probably the basis for what a lot of people start creating on their own. And I have some gameplay up on my YouTube channel with some of the Skylanders Imaginators stuff, and also Matt's been putting up some videos talking about some Skylander stuff, and he's got his website. All that stuff we'll put in the links in the description below when this video archives. Super Yoshi says, Rob, can you give me a shout out? There you go. And Pier Paolo Stupino says, me too. I think wants a shout out as well. Some new faces. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, and let's get started. So Matt, let's talk about the battle classes first, and then we'll talk about how that sort of works with the creation crystals and then the controversy. So let me get a graphic up of the battle classes. So let's go down the list, naming all 10 battle classes. Go ahead, Matt.
We have, 10 battle classes, you said. There's the Bazooker, another wonderful word they made up this year. The Bowslinger, a Brawler, Ninja, Knight, Quickshot, Sentinel, Smasher, Sorcerer, and Swashbuckler.
All right. And
just like you, I don't have those memorized yet. I'm reading those off the list. That's the only way I can get it done right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. When me and Wyrock were doing a live stream, I was teasing. I was like, hey, how many can you name? That'll be like the quick trivia and stuff like that. So
if you give me enough time, I can name them.
Yeah, once the game, like much like all the new characters and stuff like that, when Skylanders Imaginators comes out, we got them in our hands, we're playing them, we'll get to know all the new characters there. That'll make it easier. So let me get back to the graphic here. So Bazooka. So I haven't played yet with Bazooka. Bowslinger. What are some of the characters that kind of match in there? Do we know any of the Bazooka Senseis?
The Bazookers, we don't have anything official. The best we've seen is in the latest trailer that they put out. We got a glimpse of a character called Flarewolf that we had seen before, and it definitely looks like he's holding some kind of bazooka over his shoulder. So it'd be hard to imagine that he's not going to be of the Bazooker class, especially since we don't have anybody else in the Bazooker class right now. So he seems to be the only one we know about so far for sure.
All right, but we've seen some of the Bowslingers, right? That's isn't who's the villain? Isn't he a Bowslinger that's coming back? Wolfgang.
Yes, he is definitely a Bowslinger. I guess anybody that I guess they kind of all have to carry bows. I guess maybe you could go even like a crossbow, perhaps, but definitely the bow slingers are gonna they're kind of self-explanatory, easy to pick out.
How about brawlers? So it seems like they're showing off a lot of the brawlers so far. That seems kind of like the main tank character that's just going to get in and bash up close.
That's kind of been your standard Skylanders fighting style, at least how I play the game usually. While I do like my ranged characters, which would be like your bow slingers, the brawler is that just kind of rush in there and start punching stuff. As far as we know, the brawlers aren't going to have any kind of weapon, but as we've seen with like Crash Bandicoot, who is a brawler, there's a lot of things like he can pick up and use, or other items that he might have tucked away somewhere that he's going to be able to use to fight. So they don't have a weapon per se, but they're going to have other items perhaps that they can use.
I don't know if you peeked over at chat, but the Blast Zone boy actually asked what class is Crash Bandicoot, so that answers that as well. Let me click over to a couple more. All right, so let's go down. Knight and Ninja. I don't know if I've seen a Knight character yet. Have they been talking about some Knight senseis?
We do know about one, Ambush.
Ambush. Oh yes, that's right.
Yep.
I forget all about these E3 ones they showed off because that's so
Exactly,
long ago.
but like not a lot of people got a lot of coverage of Ambush. I know Andy from Family Gamer TV. He had the exclusive reveal during E3, and so no one else had that footage for a long time. And so yeah, some people forgot about him, but he's still one of my favorites because green is my favorite color, and so anything that's green, I'm automatically attracted to, and that Ambush looks like he's going to be a fun character for me.
Yeah, Ambush. I got to play as Ambush, one of my early favorites. Really fast and had some cool moves to them. And then Ninja class there.
Yeah, the ninjas seem like that they're basically going to be somebody that can throw their weapons. Obviously, the ninja symbol or emblem or icon, whatever you want to call them, I don't know what we're calling those, but is like a ninja throwing star. And two of the characters we've seen that we know are ninjas, Starcast, he's a new sensei, and then Taekwon Crow, one of the returning villains. They both have throwing stars. So I don't know if all of them are going to have throwing stars. I would think they could come up with some, like, even just like little daggers or something just to change it up a little bit. But that's what it seems like. The ninjas are going to have some kind of throwing weapons.
All right. Let's see. See what's in chat. We got Owen says bonjour, so maybe you're overseas. Howdy. Jurier says my favorite Skylander is Gil Grunt. I did a Skylanders history with Gil Grunt a couple weeks ago as well. Wait, why are you chuckling there? Is that a fan favorite of yours, or are you just like, I'm done with Gil Grunt? We've seen him one too many times.
I never quite got on board with Gil Grunt. He was okay, but yeah, there's been so many versions that I'm okay being done with him for a while.
Robert the Blast in my chat says there's too many comments to read. Everybody's excited about Skylanders Imaginators. Let's get back over the graphic. So quick shot. I got to make a quick shot when I was at my demo, my Gamescom Skylanders Imaginators demo. It looked like actually, wait, I have some gameplay of some quick shot here. I'm sort of going through the menus here, showing some of the different characters. While we go, but tell me a little bit about what you get as an undead quick shot as we go through some of the creation menu video here.
Okay. Yeah, the quick shot, as far as we can tell, I should probably watch your video too, but
I'm showing like the different character classes, like undead, bazooka, undead. Now it's settled on undead quick shot.
All right. So the quick shot, as far as we can tell, is going to have basically dual wielding guns. At least one gun, you figure, but in most cases probably two, because that's how most Skylanders seem to be made. In this case, we have Dr. Crankcase is a quick shot. He has the two little pistols. I just like to point out, like, if we went back and gave classes to some of the older Skylanders, I'm sure someone like Trigger Happy is going to be a quick shot. I think he falls perfectly into that class.
Oh yeah, he seems like the father of the quick shot.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we're actually looking at, just kind of jumping ahead here, we're actually looking at, for those who don't know, Skylanders Imaginators, like I was saying earlier, he might have been late to chat. I see TMP is in chat as well. What's up, what's up? So you can go and make your character from scratch, picking the heads, the tails, the feet, the arms, the colors, the voices, lots and lots of variations on making the character. And that's why Matt and I wanted to make these videos to kind of like get people prepared, think about what they want to make, because the thing is, the controversy, and this is something we'll touch on in just a second a little more, but the controversy is that the battle classes get locked in the creation crystals, so you want to make sure you're being careful about what to make of that. So let me jump over to a couple more classes. Sentinel looks like another sort of brawlerish type of thing. Is a Sentinel up close and personal?
Yeah, it's going to see. They're going to be a lot of up close melee type fighting as well. The big difference is obviously they have a weapon. All the weapons we've seen so far seem to have a long pole in the middle, and then two identical weapons of some sort on each end. Like we have Hoodsickle, who has the two sickles on each end of his pole. We have Barbella, who basically just has two giant rocks on the end of the stick. And then we have Ember, is also a Sentinel, but she just has like, well, I don't like to cross over too much here, but it looks like she has a double-sided lightsaber.
Oh yeah, she is the Darth Maul of the Skylanders universe.
Exactly.
And one of my early favorites, Ambush, Ember, definitely a couple of good ones there out of the gate. We got Wesley Williams in chat. Shoutouts to you. I believe that's Wesley from Family Gamer TV, if I'm not mistaken. He asks. He says, "I wish we could record our own voices for the characters. That would be great. You can sort of go in and mix and match different catchphrases and different voices and stuff like that." Matt, are you gonna go with a deep voice or a whimsical voice? Any early speculation for yourself?
I haven't started planning too much out yet. It's really going to depend on the character, and most of the time I will probably be going for funny over serious. So we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, we gotta keep it lighthearted. I'm showing a little more of the character. I'm making my undead quick shot. I made these crazy ears. I got a crazy mask happening. I'm going through some of the legs and the wardrobe, and you guys can see you can add tails or not have a tail, and when you're creating the characters you can spin around and kind of give yourself a little 360 look there. So let me jump back over to the battle classes here. We got a couple more. Smasher, so that's another brawlerish type.
Yeah, it's going to be up close and personal again, because they got their weapon that they got to hold on to, and some may have more reach than others, but this is another class where we have a lot of examples already. We've seen Chopscotch. We have a lot of gameplay of her. She has this giant axe. And then we saw early on Tri-Tip. He has a giant mace. And then, well, he hasn't officially been revealed yet. We have seen an image of Pinata is coming back, and he has his giant lollipop.
Oh yes. I got my my Happy Meal, McDonald's Happy Meal pinata, and his hand does kind of like the lollipop smash down there.
I imagine we'll get a lot of that in the actual gameplay, so it'll be fun.
In chat, Heavenly hashtag says, Rob, is there a character you dislike? You mean from like the Skylanders Imaginators? Haven't played with all of them yet. When I was playing with Cortex, I wasn't really like drawn to him like super crazy, but again, I played with him for like 2 minutes. Maybe as we go I'll sort of get a feel. Matt, do you have a character you dislike? People, it's a controversy thing. We gotta know what you like, what your favorite is, and what you dislike. And the game's not even out yet. We still got a month to go, right?
It's true. Well, if you want some controversy, I did not really care for Ember that much. I thought she was a little more bland. But a lot of people I know weren't on like the Ambush bandwagon, and I really liked Ambush. So, who knows?
Amber kind of reminds some of us of like Firecracken with the little, movements and the karate with the stick there. So let's finish off the battle classes here. Sorcerer, I got a chance to take a quick look at this during the Gamescom stuff, but I didn't get to make a sorcerer class. This is the class that'll let you float around, right? Like a wizard.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure on all the powers that come along with this, but it definitely seems to be more magic based. I found it interesting that the symbol for the sorcerer is like the staff, and so far most of the characters we've seen, like Golden Queen and Mysticat, both have that like magic staff. But then we found out Dr. Neocortex is also a sorcerer, and this one might be a little more of a stretch. And that's why I wanted to point out that it seems like this with the sorcerer, they're really going more for the magic aspect of it more so than the staff, because he's carrying a gun. He doesn't have a staff, but
he can like jump on a little thing and fly around. So like if flight is a sorcerer thing, Cortex has that.
That could be part of it. Yeah. And that's the thing. They haven't really explained, each of these battle classes. We're just kind of assuming things from what we've seen.
Yes, yes, we're putting our detective hats on. There's a lot of YouTube detectives out there, and Matt's one of them, and me as well, so we're trying to figure things out. So let's see, and then finally, Swashbuckler is the 10th class with some swords. Are we going to get 2 swords? Double swords, John Woo style?
That's what it seems to be, yeah. Like, the knight already had a sword, but they only have 1 sword, and it's generally speaking seems to be a larger sword, but the swashbuckler definitely seems to have 2 swords, probably a little bit smaller because they gotta be able to hold them in one hand. But yeah, we've seen 1 swashbuckler officially, Aurora, a light character for this year. I don't think we've seen any gameplay though. That there may have been some Imaginator gameplay of a swashbuckler somewhere along the line, but I have to dig around for that.
Alrighty, so there is a kind of a recap of the 10 battle classes and sort of our little opinion and some 2 cents on that. Let me see in chat. We got Henry says, "Notice me." There you are being noticed. BC Rivers says, "What's up?" He's in chat. Kyrian X says, "Rob, explain why Swap Force is your favorite." So Skylanders and Swap Force is my favorite. The figures, the story, the gimmicks, the world, everything just seemed to fit really smooth and worked. And the swapping was a great gimmick because it made you like take toys out of the boxes, because a lot of my Skylanders I keep sealed in boxes. So a lot of them I had to buy 2 of and take them out. What about you? Do you have a favorite so far, Matt?
For the longest time, my favorite has really been the original Spyro's Adventure. I personally think it had the best story. Maybe it was because it was more original at that time. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but yeah, Spyro's Adventure is probably still my favorite to go back and play.
Awesome. All right, yeah, the classic. The first one is great. I mean, that was the one that really sort of set the standard, with everything. Wesley and Chad agrees that the Swap Force all the way. Portal Master rank up. So there you go. There's a quick look at the battle classes, and let's talk about a little bit about the crystals and how they work. So here's a photo of me with a bunch of crystals. I tried to fit as many crystals as I could on the Portal of Power. Speaking of Swap Force, we're going to get the Swap Force Portal of Power back again. Now, as you can see in this photo, the crystals are large. They're big. They're not like a little tiny thing that you can shove in your pocket. What's your first impressions, Matt, of the crystals now that you've kind of seen them floating around in different people's photos and videos and stuff like that?
I think the crystals look great. I've thought this from the beginning. I discussed this with Jason before, that even if they didn't do much in the game, this is something I would still probably want to collect them and have them sitting on my shelf, especially if we could make them light up when they're off the portal. That would be even better. But yeah, they look great.
Yeah, that's a good point to make. When you put the crystals on the portal power, and the portal power is actually plugged in. My portal power in this photo not plugged in, so they're not lighting up. But here's a picture here, kind of showing a little bit of a glow. So there's 10 different elements classes for the crystals, and then I believe there's different crystal shapes and classes, and there's like dark crystals and stuff like that. Is this going to be something like the traps, Matt, where we're collecting like 80 different crystals?
That's definitely what it seems like right now, and unfortunately, it's going to require a lot of detective work on our part again, because they well, actually, I take that back. In Trap Team, they did in-game in the menus. They listed all the different styles or molds of the traps that were available or were supposed to be available, and so maybe when we get into the menu of Imaginators here, they'll show off all the different crystals we can collect too. Because other than that, they don't like officially announce them. We've just seen a lot of different molds popping up here and there and everywhere. And as of now, we don't have like official names for each mold, which is kind of a problem for those who are trying to collect them. It's like, well, I want this one, but if you can't describe it to someone, these crystals, I think, have even less of a shape per se than a lot of the traps did. Like some of the traps resembled a bird, so even if you didn't have the official name of the toucan trap, you could tell someone the one that looks like a bird, and they would know what you're talking about. So.
Yeah, I've been a proponent for actually numbering packaging for Skylanders and Lego. I guess those sort of have Lego Dimensions has numbering, but with even with Disney Infinity, there's different variations with that. But you should be able to call Toys R Us, Walmart, Target, whatever, and say, "Look, I need Skylander, A006 or something, and it's a certain trap or a certain creation crystal or something like that." Should be kind of a thing. So I'm with you on that, Matt. So all right, so let's talk about the controversy and get into that. I see Joshua jumped in chat. Shout outs to you and Sir X Tommy. A couple people showing up late. You guys know I stream at 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time. Get your DVR set, your YouTube DVRs. So let's see. So here's the controversy. So when you start a creation crystal, it's gonna sort of ask you well, actually, I'm showing a graphic that says take ownership of this. There's actually a thing that sort of says, hey, do you want to sort of confirm, this is the battle class you want to put. So if you have a fire crystal and, here I'm showing the undead quick shot. So I have an undead crystal and I want to commit my undead crystal to a quick shot class. I cannot and go back and reset the battle class. And this is something I asked Activision directly, and they said no, the battle classes are locked into the crystal, and you can modify that character. You can change the head, the voice, the aura, the catchphrase, and all that, but the battle classes stay locked in to the actual crystal. And there's actually people upset. There's there's like the those changeme.org. What is that called, Matt? The petitions, right?
Yeah, the online petitions have started. Yes,
the petitions. So what am I explaining this well, Matt? To take me through everything I might be missing on this.
Yeah, you got it pretty well. It's basically when we started out, we knew that the element was going to be locked to the crystal, obviously, because you have to buy an element of or a crystal of a particular element, and that was fine with me. I mean, because that gives them options to create really cool element-specific crystals. But past that, we were at least under the impression that everything else was going to be changeable to some extent. The biggest problem is that when choosing a battle class is the first thing you have to do when you put a crystal on the portal. And for a lot of people, that's probably going to be the first thing they do after they open their starter pack, is put that crystal on the portal and start creating. And at that point, we have absolutely no idea what all these different battle classes do. And so how are you supposed to know what one you want to pick? I related it to any other Skylander we've had from previous years. You know, when you're choosing the powers, you're upgrading your powers. You eventually get to a point where you have to choose the upper path or lower path, right?
Yes.
And that was a little bit of an issue because you didn't know which one you wanted to take. You could kind of take a look at the little thumbnails there on the screen and try to figure out which one you liked better. They had little descriptions, whatever. But you could always go back, and if you didn't like the path you chose, reset the figure and level it back up and choose the other path.
Yeah, that's what's a critical thing, Matt, is especially with the used market. Like if you're done with a crystal and you trade it in, it's, you know, somebody rebuys it on GameStop or something. They're stuck with that battle class, and
someone's gonna go in there thinking, oh, I'm just buying a fire crystal, but little do they know it's gonna be a fire sentinel crystal.
Yeah. So that's kind of the controversy, sort of in a nutshell, and stuff like that. And that's why Matt and I have sort of said, like, hey, let's make video sort of breaking down the battle classes to kind of give some education, some perspective. So maybe when the game comes out, people may go and Google, YouTube, Skylanders Imaginators Battle Crystals. Maybe they'll try and get some perspective ahead of time, because it's a big decision. It's like buying a car, right?
Yeah. As much as possible, if this is their final decision, that's my goal right now, is just to give them as much information as possible up front so they can make an educated decision at least. Yes, and that's what they, and maybe this is something we'll talk about again as we get a little closer, just a little bit of a heads up, and if we have any more information, maybe like our favorite battle classes, or which battle class matches which element, because that's a tricky thing. You may be like, hey, I want a sorcerer undead, and then you make that, and you're like, well, wait, I'd rather have a sorcerer magic or something, you know, like, and then that you got to run out and get like another crystal. Yeah, that's the problem. It's if you make one wrong click, you can't just say undo. You have to go out and spend another $10. Yeah, and these crystals are not cheap, $10. So the warning is, don't leave empty what would it be called, like blank creation crystals laying around the house, where do not leave your crystals unattended.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, parents can jump in and create things. I mean, I could just see like somebody buying like 10 crystals and they leave them laying around, and they go out to hang out and play some football, and then they come back and their little sister has been like, hey, this has been great, look at all these cool things I made, and then
exactly,
and then boom, like that's $100. You know, I mean, granted, you could still play with those battle classes, but if somebody just makes like 10 smasher battle classes, you're gonna be pretty upset.
You might have a smasher of every element, but that's not going to be nearly as fun.
Let me jump into the chat. Henry has asked about 4 or 5 times. No need to repeat the same questions. I'm reading chat. It's asking about the Crash pack and what it's going to include. We haven't seen the final product of what the Crash Bandicoot pack is going to be, but we're pretty sure it's going to be Cortex and Crash, and that's going to unlock the Crash Bandicoot level, Thumpa Wumpa Island, right, Matt?
Yes, Thumpin' Wumpa Islands.
Yes. So maybe it'll come with a chest. Who knows? That would be cool to have like a little Crash Imaginite chest or something, right?
That would be cool, yeah.
Or even like one of the boxes, the orange, the crates or something. That would be cool if it had a crate. I would love that. Zayed in chat saying change.org. Yeah, the petition's on change.org. I've got it on some of my comments as well. Maybe I'll put a link to that. You know what? I gotta be honest though, with the change.org and all that, this game is made, it's done, it's coming out in a month. You guys can be upset or not upset about the battle classes being locked into the creation crystals, but it's not going to change. Activision generally doesn't patch or change things with Skylander games, so it's a rarity. I don't know, Matt, do you want to weigh in? Is there any chance that this will change with launch or post-launch at all?
I definitely think it's a long shot. I do think it is a possibility, because I think it, from what I know of games and programming and such, it should be a relatively simple patch, something that they could patch in post-launch even, because it's just basically creating an option to reset the crystals back to their base level, which is something that, from a development standpoint, I know they had at one point. I don't know if you saw it back at E3. I know they had the option to reset the crystals so they could show everybody the demo from a fresh crystal. But it's an option they decided to remove, basically, for the final version of the game. So it's definitely something they could put back in, but it's going to be a long shot to actually get them to change it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. We'll see how things go. I see P Diddy Sports, James TH jumped in chat. A few more questions about the Crash Bandicoot. Crash Cortex are playable on all the Skylanders Imaginators SKUs, the Xbox, Wii U. Wrecker Lawson says, "Is there gates?" I haven't seen gates in elemental gates or battle class gates. Matt, do you have any input on that? Is there battle class gates or elemental gates?
I believe there are some sort of elemental gates. I don't remember where we've seen them, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing yet this year.
Awesome. Yeah, we're still, we're a month away from Skylanders Imaginators release. We still got questions, concerns, stuff like that. Obviously, when we get the game, we'll be able to see the hub world and how things sort of upgrade and interact as we go. So be a cautious buyer, or buy all the creation crystals you want. Just be a little cautious and concerned when you're deciding which battle class you want to make on those crystals. That was sort of the theme of today's show, talking about that. Did we miss anything, Matt? Is there a critical thing that we've left out that we need to explain? How many Boss Comics says how many crystals are there? We don't know yet, right?
It's true. We don't know yet. All we know is that there's 10 different elements. We've seen multiple molds for most of the elements. So if you look at it like Trap Team, I mean, some of them had 5 to 6 different molds. Some only had 3 different molds. So it's really hard to predict what they're going to go with this year.
Yes, and also there's a trap that comes. I'm sorry, not a trap. There's a crystal that comes with a starter kit. There'll be some with characters and bundled with a crystal and a character, and then there's like a 3-pack that we've seen of the 3 packs of crystals. So different options, different way to pick these up. So shout out to all you Portal Masters in chat: Henry, Zaid, Blast Zone Boy, Robert Mitchell, Sir X Tommy, Ricardo Perez, Wrecker. Of course, we had TMP and some others in there. And make sure you check out Matt's YouTube channel and his website, Skylanders Character List there. Thanks a bunch, Matt, for helping explain things.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
All right, and we'll see all you Portal Masters probably next week or maybe over the weekend when I do another Skylanders history. I don't know. I'm going to Call of Duty XP this weekend, so I might have a lot of Call of Duty videos up this weekend with that going on. So shout out to all you guys. Portal Master rank up. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you guys in the next video.
See ya.